The main idea here is this WYSIWYG, or what you see is what you get editor. Now, sometimes these can be a little tricky, and by default, they're going to pull in the main text and color scheme of your app. So my app has white text. That's a little bit tough to see. So I'm going to click this little droplet and change the text to black. And you could even change the background if you wanted to something that's fitting with your color scheme. I think for now I'll just leave it as white. Maybe I'll write something like this gym was established in 2010. Oops, that's not how you write that, 2010. And you can, of course, include any content that you think might be relevant. There are a few other tips that I want to show you, though. One of them is that very often people want to include images, so I would certainly say go for it. I've pulled a nice stock photo here of this random gym. And what you'll see is when I save this and then I preview it, the image is just way too big. It doesn't fit correctly. Now, every single app will look a little bit different, and that's because every phone screen, they're just so inconsistent across devices. So here's my favorite thing to do. You'll see when you click on this photo, it brings up another sub menu. You can replace, align left or center or right, whatever it might be. But here's the change size button. Instead of doing straight pixel amounts, I'd say for the width, let's go 100%. And then height, I'm going to switch this to auto. I'm going to update that and save. Now the beauty of width equals 100% is that regardless of the size of the device, the photo will actually adjust. So that's one of my favorite things to do. I'm going to say, call us today. And I'm going to set this up as though it were a hyperlink. So I want to click this insert link button. And instead of typing a URL to a website, I'll put the TEL that I copied from that article. And then put in, whatever number it might be, insert, and then save. What you'll see, even if I test this here on my computer, when I click this button, my computer literally is trying to open FaceTime so I can make this phone call. So that's pretty great. You can set it up to make calls, texts, or emails. The last thing that I want to mention is just sometimes these text editors can get a little finicky. They can kind of have a mind of their own, especially if you're pasting content over, like from a website. It's going to retain the formatting that was on that website. So the best thing to do if you wanted to use what's consistent to what you see here is use a tool like a text editing software that can really, strip and remove all of the sizing, fonts, colors. So most often these programs are called like Notepad or Text Edit. Put the content you want there first and then paste it into these editors. That will ensure that everything looks consistent and is looking really good. Now, if you're still getting stuck and you just can't figure it out, I like to switch to code view. You'll see that this is all the HTML coding that we've created. And there are great tools out there. My favorite is this w3schools.com website. They can teach you just about everything you might need to know about HTML, for example. And they have this try it yourself editor. So when in doubt, if you feel like something isn't working in the app, try putting your coding here first and see if it works here. This will help you isolate whether the issue is with your coding or if there's some reason why it's not functioning correctly, like on a mobile device or within an app itself. So W3Schools, definitely worth bookmarking. And that's just about it for Info 1 tiers and the What You See is What You Get editors.